Tune into your radio. This is a heavyweight stadium. Music banging loud through your cranium. This is a heavyweight stadium. Music banging loud through your cranium. This is titanium. You are listening to titanium. This is titanium. You are listening to titanium.
Titanium Radio on 89.9 QFM.
Yes. It's your boy B Davis, DJ QT on the ones and twos. Fuji in the building, Darius behind the camera. Let me turn this music down. Let's get us right, man. We got a special guest in the building. Miss Outlaw's in the building. Producer, Bars on I-95. Co-host on American Rap Magazine. Photographer, filmmaker, and creative director.
Shoot.
Did I miss something?
Yo, you got the Steve Harvey touch. Yo, okay. I'm feeling like we on Apollo.
Yeah.
That's a dope intro.
This is what we do. Welcome to Titanium Radio.
I appreciate you.
How you feeling though?
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
The energy is high?
Yeah, happy to be here. You know, I'm usually not the person in front of the camera or doing an interview. So this is like, you know, I've done a podcast interview. I co-host a podcast, but I've never actually been on radio, so this is new. So
how is it changing roles? I don't want to say change positions because then I would have to pause myself, and I'm trying to grow up.
Oh my God.
Right? So how has it been changing roles within going from behind the camera to in front of the camera?
Yeah, he's really trying to be professional.
I really am.
He's so childish.
He's trying to be professional. So we're not gonna let that slip. But
please don't.
Pause.
Oh my God. I mean, you don't need it every time.
She said it.
Well, okay, so it is a difference. It's a huge difference. Mostly because I'm the person controlling the room. I'm the person who's making sure everything's set. I'm super detail oriented, like obsessively so, because it's all about removing distractions so that people who are viewing or hearing you can absolutely enjoy whatever it is that you're giving them. Right? So now imagine having that kind of mind, but now you have to sit in front of the camera. You got to check the sound. Okay, you usually have a sound engineer. All right, now you don't. Okay, now there's usually a person behind the camera. It's usually you. Now you don't because it's you. Now I'm telling you, it's some hard work. Being a content creator is some hard work. I'm not even gonna lie.
Absolutely, especially when you're doing it by yourself.
I would say I'm doing it by myself, but not by myself. Like, the support system is crazy, right? So people don't know what I need, but they'll like show up and be like, yo, do you need help? You know what I'm saying? So that's one aspect of it. I can't say I'm doing it by myself exclusively because I definitely have a great support system. But yes, by myself. Like my brother shot, like he hit the record button on my first piece, my first talking head piece. Yeah. And he, you know, if I was out of focus, he would have known how to fix it.
Yeah.
But he, you know, I have a blooper reel on that track that I didn't actually release. And you hear him coaching me. He's like, do it again. It was great. You know, I forgot we were on public radio. So anyway, I was gonna say something.
You just can't cuss, that's all.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna.
Okay. Yeah.
So he was like coming at me crazy. You know what I'm saying? I was like, first of all, who's the director here? He was like, do it again, it's fine. So it's like different getting that kind of feedback from somebody else. You know what I mean? And then you're the one who's usually doing it. Yeah, that's really what it is.
I feel like there has to be trust.
Yeah.
There has to be some type of trust.
Yeah.
To allow yourself to go from being the person in control of the room to now being the person in the spotlight. You got to trust the person that's kind of like controlling. It's trust, and
it's also submitting to the process. Like, it's creative. Being a creative already is like your mind is racing a million times a minute, no matter what kind of creative you are. Music, film, it doesn't matter. Photography, doesn't matter. Your mind is always like going. So when you're in a space like that, it's a little different. And then you have to like switch it. It's like you have to reprogram. Like, I'm reprogramming myself to do this thing because personal brand is everything now. Like, if you're not doing video, if you're not putting yourself out there, like, you're literally, your company is not even alive. And so I've been pushed, and I've literally been pushed by everybody I know, like, Christina, you have to do this. Christina, you have to do this. Like, even the podcast thing was like an accident. Like, I didn't want to do that. I was just asked randomly.
What do you think? Why do you think people are kind of pushing you in that direction to be in front of the camera?
I could speculate, but you probably have to ask them, because for me, I'm just like, hand me the camera, let me shoot.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of my thing. So I'm just like, hand me the camera, let me shoot. But I kind of go off sometimes. You know, I go off the rails on some topics. So sometimes that's probably why the podcast makes sense. And then, you know, people are saying, hey, you have a story. I think one of the biggest pushes was there's not a lot of Black female media owned media companies in Connecticut. Actually, there's probably, I can count on one hand how many I actually know of. Or, you know, female-led media teams. And so that's something that's really not seen as much. I've always worked in male-dominated spaces.
How does it feel? I actually have that question written down. What's it like being a woman in a male-dominated field, within a male-dominated field?
You really want to have this conversation?
It's early. We got time, though.
Oh, okay. Well, without, like, writing a book, it's interesting. It's interesting, and it's frustrating, and only frustrating because you have to figure out how to move in certain spaces with certain people. And ego is something that's not mutually exclusive to men at all.
True.
Women have crazy egos.
True.
So it's not just a mutually exclusive thing. It's just men move off of respect. Men move off of, from what I've seen, from what I've noticed. So, you know, for those listening, if you have a difference of opinion, it's fine. Men move off of respect, and men move off of, you know, what you do, what you did, right? Women move off of, are you going to show up and do what you say you're going to do? And that difference is kind of what creates that friction. Because I'll be like, that person didn't show up and do what I needed them to do last time. I don't want them to come. Or I don't care who you are, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. I can't tell you how many shows we were supposed to shoot for bars, and it was rescheduled like 5 times. You know what I mean? So, and for me, I didn't care how big the name was. I don't really want to shoot this person because they've, you know, and that's how my energy was, versus understanding the game, understanding how things move. And once you understand how all of that moves, then it becomes whether or not you want to play the game. And so being a woman in a male-dominated space, the filmmaking industry is still male-dominated. Crazy. There's lots of women, but I mean, when I tell you, if you really look at it, it's like 2%.
Yeah.
It's 2%.
I see that.
How many camera women do you see in Connecticut?
I actually see quite a few photographers, quite a few dope photographers. Actually, there's a dope photographer who's out of here, Busy Ruth. Really love her.
Love her work. I actually
love her work.
Yeah.
She's freaking dope. And I feel like she has this different style. What I love about a lot of the female photographers in the state is that we all have different styles. Like, our styles are completely different. Like, Busy Ruth has this very artistic, earthy kind of feeling to her work. I just came across, I don't know, I think she's from the 203, just came across Snap by Tia. She loves doing, like, you know, manipulation with her work, and, you know, a lot of, you know, graphic manipulation, which I think is super, super dope. And there's Marietta B. There's so many different photographers, right? There's not as many filmmakers. There's actors. There's, like, showrunners. There's writers, but there's not, like, in Connecticut, I haven't met a lot of women filmmakers, specifically. Women who want to direct, women who want to hold the camera.
I could think of one. Victoria Blue.
I haven't heard of her.
Yeah.
Please send me her information. Would love to connect.
The only one I could think of off the top of my head. But if you are a woman out there that is, you know, on the path to directing something, then let us know. Get in touch with us. So I watched couple of your videos on Instagram, and I love the talking head videos that you just posted of yourself talking.
Yeah.
You look vulnerable because you look like you're not used to being in that
Oh
position.
my God.
But
Oh my
pause,
God.
but it looks like you're like
Here he goes.
like the story is great. And
Okay.
like you telling your story, like I'm already interested and I already kind of know a little bit more about you. Like I
Right.
feel more connected to you.
Right.
So I feel like those videos definitely
I think that's dope.
They work.
I appreciate that feedback because you know that's actually those numbers. And if you look at my Instagram is not popping.
Mm-hmm.
It's not at all because most of the work I've done in the last decade has been other people's stuff.
yeah.
I've shot for other people. And my name has not been on any of it.
But with that being said though, how does it make you feel that people don't see the work that you've been accomplishing over the past decade, but they know the work?
Okay, I'll be honest with you on that. Maturity has changed my perspective on that particular situation. So I would say maybe 6 years ago, when I was really fighting for position, and I don't mean like in any particular space, like literally in my head for like just trying to convince myself that I can do this thing. Like it was a daily struggle, right? To just say, okay, I can do this, because there was constant reminders telling me, yo, you're not that good, right? And when you have exterior things telling you you're not that good or reminding you that you could be better, you know, sometimes you feel like that's good pressure, but sometimes that can overtake and then like leak into like negative self-talk. And so that really put me in a position to be like, okay, I'm gonna just push myself harder. It wasn't me working harder that actually put me in a position to then come here and do those talking head videos. It was me actually just submitting to my work. Like just saying, why do I keep waking up and wanting to do this thing? I must have to do it. Like I've been doing this since I was 3/4 of my life. I've been doing this. I was 14 when I started. So, every time I think I'm gonna quit, I wake up the next day thinking, okay, how are we gonna do it better? So when I just submitted to the fact that this is what I'm supposed to do, and I had to reprogram how I thought about myself, then I was like, okay, then I finally put myself in front of the camera. Now, I'm gonna tell you this right now. It took a month and a half for that video to even hit the internet. It was done in October.
Wow.
It took a week, 50-11 takes, like I can't even tell you. My brother, like everybody showing up. Is it done? Is it done? Is it done? I don't know. I hate it. I don't know. I don't want to do it. like my friend from Brooklyn came up and I was like, I like prefaced it. I was like, yo, this is rough, right? This really rough. But watch it. She's like, and she like I'm gonna slap you. This is amazing. I was like, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's terrible. Like I was just on this because I've never done it before.
Right.
So when you've never done something before, you're like really hard on yourself.
Yeah.
And me, you know, I'm a recovering perfectionist. So I'm like, okay, maybe it needs fancier titles. Maybe it needs. I finally was just like, forget it. I'm gonna just put it out. Right. No fancier titles. No nothing. We're just gonna put it out. Let's talk about what it is. It is what it is. Boom, there it go. And that's it.
Yeah, one of the things Unc was just in here saying, you might have heard him because he was just very loud.
I heard him. I heard him.
But he was saying
very
that
much.
Being organic wins, being natural, being yourself, you know, being who you are, that wins.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? And I feel like what you just said was like getting out of your own way.
Oh, that's like the biggest struggle on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
Everybody's in their own way.
Right.
And it's all about you just releasing yourself from that bind, that hold, and just saying, okay, this is never going to remove itself from my mind. So what should I really be doing? Asking yourself every morning, okay, what should I really be doing? That's the difference between that and then I'm not good enough. I don't know if my work is good enough. I don't know if this is good enough. I can't like, I'm so happy that some of my older stuff is like buried in a hard drive, because if I saw it now, I would cringe, right? So the stuff that I've put out now, it's like, I still cringe because I know where I could have tweaked it. I know where I could make it better, but it's out there. And when other people see it, it's like, okay, so I got some flow. So getting back into the flow of working all the time is something that, you know, I've recently done, and I'm sometimes second guessing myself still. The only difference is that I just go ahead and do it.
So when you're producing for other people, are you the person to say, all right, this is good, we're gonna go ahead with this? I mean, of course you kind of communicate with the person you're working with, the people you're working with, but are you usually the person to say, this is good, we're gonna go with this?
Well, producing is different. Producing and directing is different. As a producer, you have to understand what the mission is. Whatever the mission is. If you're the person exacting the mission, then you know what the mission is. If you're executing the mission for somebody else, then as a film producer, TV show producer, or whatever, you're in control of making sure that we get to the vision. So everything's your responsibility. So if somebody F's up, it doesn't matter who it was, it's on you. And if you can't absorb that, figure out how to lead the team better, figure out how to be better, figure out how to work with your partners better, it's not going to work. So producing is a whole nother lane. It's a whole nother thought process.
I've seen bars on I-95 do like remote shows, like freestyles. I pulled up a few times when bass was on there. So
DTLR.
I've seen the DTLR setup. We probably crossed paths and I didn't know. I know it's a guy that got glasses that works on the team. Yeah, he was doing the audio stuff.
Oh no, that's this.
Okay.
Yes.
Nah, y'all got a whole team.
Yeah.
And it looks like everybody knows their role and knows, it's showtime.
Yep.
It's time to work. It's time to put these pieces together. You do this, I'm doing this. It's go time.
Right.
How important is it to have a strong team, and what was it like joining Bars on I-95? Like, how did that whole thing come about?
Wow. I have never been asked that question for real. That's crazy. I'm actually I'm one of the partners of Bars on I-95. So there's 4 of us, and then we have a whole team of people that work as part of the team. I actually started as a consultant. I was just supposed to be a consultant because I was working a corporate job. I had a 9 to 5 or whatever. And one of the guy who was shooting, the main camera guy who was shooting Bars on I-95, he didn't work out. I don't know the reason, he just didn't work out. So then I was like, AB, I think it was AB and Diz and C's, they came to me and was like, okay, Outlaw, we need you to come aboard. I was like, I can't do it. I said, no. I said, I can't do it. I have to work in Fairfield, like county. Like what? No, I can't do it. Can't do it. I'll continue to consult. Let's talk about the cameras. Let's talk about the lighting. Let's talk about all that stuff. I said no several times. They were like, no, Outlaw, we need you to come aboard and direct the show. I was like, all right. So I did, begrudgingly. And I truly believed in the vision that A, B, and C's had. Like, truly believed in. I thought it was incredibly dope, right? And I'll say those first few years, it was really a learning experience because it was all about us all trying to figure out how to get the right look, right? And it was like, okay, well, we don't want to look like this one. We don't want to look like that one. AB was like in my ear, hey, this is a reference. How do we get to this look? How do we get to, and I'm like, okay, well, if we got to get to this, we're going to need to buy this, or we're going to need to get that. So it was years before, like, we really gelled. Like, we had some big shows, but they're rough. Like the Sioux Surf show. If you watch that episode, it's really run and gun. It's not super polished. It's got tens of millions of views. That's our biggest show ever. And that's really what kind of catapulted us. But outside of that, like, everything was us learning on the go and us just being like our own engine and our own gas. That's really what it came down to. We just refused to quit as a team. What's been your favorite Bars moment? Oh, I know that off. Well, there's 2. Okay, there's 2. So the first one is the first Lola Brooke interview. I mean, not interview, the freestyle. So that year, I believe I edited all the shows that year, whatever year that was, and that was during COVID. I think I edited most of the shows that year. And I edited all the shows, and because I'm so, like, focused, I really don't pay attention. I'm really not paying attention to the words per se. I'm really just trying to make sure everything looks good as best as I can get it, cut it up, because our turnaround time is like 48 hours, 48 to 72 hours. And now it's, sometimes we need to do it even faster depending on what's going on. So there was that. So like she does the big gate, and by the end of that, editing that freestyle, I knew the whole freestyle. It was fire. Like I would play it back I'd be like, I gotta watch it one more time. I was watching it one more time just so I could rap with her. Like, and I never fangirl over anybody. If you're not Tiana Taylor, Denzel Washington, Spike Lee, let me see who else is on that list. I'm not gonna fangirl over them. So those are the three, right? So if you're not, Beyonce, obviously.
I was gonna say Jay-Z,
Obviously.
Beyonce.
Jay-Z, it's a big Jay-Z fan,
Okay.
middle school.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Okay,
if you're not
gotcha.
gonna be one of those people, I'm not fangirling over you. And I'm telling you, I've been in front of a lot of celebrities. Never fangirl. So Lola Brooke, I'm like, oh shoot, we shot her again the top of this year. Never fangirl. I was like, yo, Lola, I just want to let you know, yo, that first freestyle was dope. I never talk to the artist.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
I never talk. They always say thank you so much. When they're leaving, never talk to the artist. Because I'm just working.
Business.
Just working.
Yeah.
I came on, I said, listen, Lola, yo, that freestyle was dope. And then I said, I love when you did it, and we started rapping it together. And it was like so dope. And I just thought that was dope because I really, like, when I really enjoy something, I'm gonna let somebody know. It doesn't hurt to like let somebody know that you appreciate their art. You know what I mean?
Facts.
For sure.
My other favorite moment, I fangirled. Crazy. It was so embarrassing. So we're in Arizona. I don't know if you ever heard of Merkham's.
Merkham's, nah. What's that?
Merkham's is out of Arizona. Grew up in New York. His team brought us down, but it was just the four of us came down to shoot a live show. Ice-T rocks with Merkham's. And, they said that he was going to be there, whatever. Okay, cool. No biggie. So I put my stuff down, all my equipment in this room. I'm like, okay, let me go set up. Somebody says something to me. I says, okay, let me go get my camera and stuff. I go back into the room. Ice-T's in there. And it says green room. And I'm like, yo, I got stuck, yo. And I went to go get my stuff. And he was like, yo, what's up? I was like, what's up? I said, you Ice-T, yo. he was like, yeah. Yo, when I tell you he is the coolest guy ever. And he really talks like that. Guys, he really talks the way he talks. And so I says, you know what? My father plays your... Yo, I went so fangirl. It was terrible. I said, my father plays your music, yo. I love you, yo. And then I was like, yo, my mother watches you on Law and Order. Yo, and you were so fire. Then I was like, yo, that's fun. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm fangirl a little bit. He was like, nah, I don't never. He said something cool like, I don't never. He says, I always accept the love because people always want to hate. Like, he talks and rhymes.
He talk like a pimp.
Yeah, he does.
Talk like a pimp.
Then I go, so what you doing in Arizona? Now I'm trying to have a conversation. I'm supposed to be working at this point. I said, so what you doing in Arizona? Because now we're friends. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, now we're buddies.
Now you making plans.
Right? Now we're friends. Right? And he's like, oh, Coco, her family down here, I don't know if you know, but we come down here from Jersey. I says, I know, I seen the show. Like, I was so terrible. It was so bad. And then he was like, well, what you doing here? I was like, well, I direct the show. He was like, word. Oh, that's fire. He was like, well, good luck on the show. That was my only fangirl moment while being with
That's worth it. That's dope.
But Ice-T, I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
I think Ice-T is worth it. And
for sure.
Thank God it was in a closed environment, but now everyone listening knows.
Nah, yeah. And we're going to post this clip.
Oh, yeah. for
Chop
sure.
it up.
Yeah, so totally so excited.
Yeah, what does bars mean to I don't even want to say CT hip hop because what does bars mean to hip hop in general at this point? Like, cause y'all global, y'all around the world. Like when the artist is doing their rollout, it's a certain like lane of artists, like a bar heavy rapper, lyricist. If they're dropping an album, they come into bars.
Yeah, they are, and we got some special people coming up too. Like, it's dope. I think it's just so dope. I love the fact that we discuss, we argue, we constantly are trying to push what I love about the team is that we're all pushing each other constantly. So creatively, business wise, making sure that we're all on point. And when we're not on point, we call each other out. So I love the team environment. It's I'm not gonna say it's easy. I'm not gonna say I like it. I love it. I don't always like it because you get into discussions about how things should go and people have differences of opinion. But what I love about the team dynamic is we always come back together. We always come back together and we always come back to what we're supposed to execute. And that's what's great. So even though there's frustrations, because we've been through everything. We traveled all through COVID. We traveled from 2019 to 2021 consistently. And we did it all as a team. So, I mean, I know what bars means to me. Bars is hip hop. Hip hop is life. Like, I mean, to be fair, I don't really know what else to say about that.
No, that's dope. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. Yo, you working on 2 short film projects that you setting to put out later this year.
Yeah.
What's the names of them?
So one is called Missed It, which is
Missed It?
It.
Okay.
Right. So I don't know. Y'all seen? I don't know if y'all seen it, but When Harry Met Sally, classic romantic comedy, or You've Got Mail.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, if we had to be real, white people put out romantic comedies.
Rom-coms, yes.
Rom-coms.
Absolutely.
Constantly.
Absolutely.
Name one black rom-com.
Booty Call?
Movie. Can you not?
No. Booty Call is not
a rom-com.
It's not a rom-com.
Oh, my bad.
That's
serious?
Crazy.
What?
That's not a.
You
That's not a rom-com.
No?
That is just a comedy.
That is comedy.
That's just a comedy. But seriously, can you name one black rom-com? Don't say Love Jones, because that's
Woo?
just a romance.
What about Woo?
Woo is a comedy. That's
What?
not it. That's not it.
You're not.
Yo,
You're not hitting
what?
the mark, man.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
Woo and Booty Call ain't it?
Nah.
No.
All right.
And I'm not talking about like the Vivica Fox movies, because they're kind of formatted.
That's what I was thinking, but I was like,
No, like romantic comedies, white romantic comedies. I hate to say it, right? I hate to make it black and white, but it is. Like Sleepless in Seattle, like we're talking award situations here. When Harry Met Sally, we're talking awards. We're saying that this movie's in the classic category. We don't have any black romantic comedies. So Missed It is going to be a black romantic comedy. And I think it's going to be pretty dope.
When you say short film, how long?
So a short film is 20 minutes and under.
Okay.
So it's probably, I don't really know how long it's going to be. Hopefully it'll be maybe about 12, no more than 15 minutes. But I'm excited about it. Idea came about it last year. And then the other film is called My Uncle Calls Me Spike, which is based off of the article I wrote. But it's not going to be like my story specifically. It's just going to be kind of this idea of a kid falling in love with movies. And it's going to definitely be a young black female lead. So those are the 2 short films that I've been working on.
How hard is it to tell a story in 12 to 20 minutes?
Just as hard as it is to tell a story in 30 seconds on Instagram. It doesn't matter how long it is. It's always hard to tell a story. It's whether or not you have figured out how to do it. So,
where can we find the short films? I know you're working them and trying to push them on a festival circuit, but
when I'm done with them, they'll definitely be on YouTube. So the KEM LAB is the name of my media company. I'm launching it officially March 3rd, which is Monday. So the websites. So right now, if you go to the website, you're gonna see a lot of really great portraits, but it's like dudes smoking weed and it's all kinds of. Because I shot a lot of music artists. That was a lot of my portrait. That's how I got my portrait. A lot of those shots that you see there, I shot on a white wall in one light. So, like, a lot of those pictures was me kind of, ironing out my skill set with, like, barely nothing. So, a lot of that stuff is a few years old, but we're going to revamp so it looks less like a portfolio and more like a media company. So it's launching on Monday along with my mini short. And mini short is something that I'm going to release on a regular basis. And these are like really tiny short films with me being the face. And
You don't look too happy about that.
I'm working through it. I'm learning to accept it. It's called, I'm learning to accept it. D here was on set with me, and I was just like, that's not the line. What's the line? And I wrote it. So it was like terrible. But this movie's called this mini short is called My Totally Biased Opinion. So it's going to be a bunch of mini shorts. I've written a couple already, so I just got to start shooting them, and then I'll just be releasing those out exclusively on social.
My last question.
Yeah.
In your bio on Instagram.
Yeah.
It says that you're the disciple of Grace Jones.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So I've been meaning to change that, but I like it because it kind of creates that kind of energy. So I don't know, but I think, no, it's not that I don't know. I don't know if anybody really understands like Grace Jones's journey, but she is like by far, before Naomi, before Iman, like there was Grace Jones. Like she was a freaking Bond girl. Like
rom-com. I got it.
Which one?
Boomerang.
Not a rom-com.
What?
That's not a rom-com.
How? Why?
Boomerang. Wait a second.
Why not?
You're right.
Why not?
You're right.
Come on now.
Boomerang is a rom-com.
Come on now.
And Eddie Murphy swear on God he is the sexiest man on earth in that movie. He does. Yo, you can't tell him nothing. The suits. You're right. Boomerang is a rom-com.
And it's got Grace Jones in it.
Yes, and Grace Jones is in it. That's why it clicked for you. Okay.
Yeah.
So Grace Jones and her part in that movie.
That was my introduction to Grace Jones.
Yo,
and
she's
I felt
hilarious.
Like but it didn't do her justice because
No.
like you're saying, she's like a historical figure.
Yo, she's insane.
And in that movie, she's just like comic relief.
Yo, but she sells it. Like you believe she's that person.
No, you really do. I really did.
And the crazy part is she also started with like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right.
Back when like in the 70s when like black women was only in blaxploitation films. Grace Jones was starring with Arnold Schwarzenegger in freaking Barbarian, Conan the Barbarian. I mean, come on. Then before all of the movie stuff, my girl was modeling all over the world, international model.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, and she speaks several languages. I think she's one of the reasons why I took French instead of Spanish. Also because I was like protesting against my father, but that's a whole other situation. I definitely just took French just to spite the system. I was just like, I'm taking French. Right. So, but Grace Jones speaks French fluidly, she's never really lived in America. Right. She's just that chick. And like, she's just so iconic. So, I mean, if you got to look up to somebody who just consistently says, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to break barriers. I'm just going to be who I am. And that's who she is. Yeah. That's why she's in my bio.
That's fire. Miss Outlaw, we appreciate you passing through.
Yeah.
If you could give the people your contact information where they could find you on social media, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. So
I'm a Instagram OG. So I have no punctuations in my handle. So it's Miss Outlaw. So that's MS Outlaw. And that's about it. You can find me on Instagram. I mean, you can try to find me on Facebook. I'm not going to answer. And then my website is www.KEM LAB, and that's KEM, KEM.com. So that's where you can find me.
Titanium Radio.
Tune into your radio. This a heavyweight stadium. Music banging loud through your cranium.